And so that is where we are headed. We are going to return to the gold standard. That is the norm throughout modern history, was to have gold as money. I mean, that's the problem with our current monetary system, is that we don't have any money anymore. We just have paper. But currency needs to be backed up by real money, and that is where we're headed. So it's not a question of will or even if we're going to return to a gold standard. The question is when. How soon is it going to happen? The sooner the better, as far as I'm concerned. But I think we're a lot closer now than we've been in the past. And I think that circumstances are certainly evolving in a way that makes not only that return inevitable, but close at hand. People are complacent. Oh, the dollar will be the world's reserve forever because no other currency can. Paper currency needs to be backed by real money. That's the problem. We have a monetary system right now without any money. We need to anchor the system with real money. The paper is a money substitute. It only has value if there's real money backing it up. And gold is the best real money that we've discovered. And that's where we're headed. So the question is, when does the world go back to the gold standard? Not does it, but when. But the history of the world for hundreds of years is gold is money. That history hasn't been rewritten. Gold's going to continue to be money for a long time. This period where it wasn't used as money will be a footnote in history and a lesson to be learned. So this has created this false sense of complacency that the dollar will remain the reserve currency indefinitely because there's no other currency that can take its place. But people are missing the elephant in the living room. The obvious choice to replace the dollar is what the dollar replaced, and that's gold. And so that is where we are headed. We are going to return to the gold standard. That is the norm throughout modern history, was to have gold as money. I mean, that's the problem with our current monetary system, is that we don't have any money anymore. We just have paper. But currency needs to be backed up by real money, and that is where we're headed. Because when we are back on a gold standard, or when the rest of the world is no longer on the dollar standard, then we don't get a free ride anymore.
Right.
We need to earn gold to back our currency, and we need to export to import. Because right now, countries export over $1 trillion a year of goods to America to get dollars, right? As to back up their currencies, but they're not going to need those dollars anymore. They're going to need gold, and we don't have that. I mean, we do. I don't know that we're going to sell off the gold that we have, but what's going to happen is we're not going to be running those trade deficits anymore because the world's not going to need our dollars. They're going to need gold. And so they're going to, but so for the rest of the world, it's not as big a change, but it will rein in governments to the extent that they want to keep running deficits. It's going to be a lot harder to do that with gold than with the U.S. dollar. Right. And I think interest rates globally are going to be a lot higher than they have been, and and that's also going to be a big change. I don't think gold is going to trade back below 2,000 again. I mean, I think those days are gone. I think the new support is probably just below 2,500. Is it possible that gold can go below 2,400? I suppose that's possible. That could happen. Maybe 2,350. I wouldn't wait for that. And I've been telling our customers at SchiffGold not to wait for a bigger break in gold. I just think you buy gold here. I think 2,500 is the new 2,000. I mean, and I don't think 2,500 is gonna stay here for long. I think we're going to be at 3,000 before we know it. Maybe we could get there before the end of the year. We could start to see some bigger moves. But even if we don't close the year at 3,000, I think we'll be closer to 3,000 than 2,500 by the end of 2024. But 2025, I mean, price can go much higher than that. I mean, I was calling for $5,000 gold back in 2010, 2009, and we didn't get there. We got to 1,900. I think 5,000 is low. I mean, my target is much higher now because we've printed so much money since then. There's been so much more inflation that's been created that gold is a lot more valuable in terms of these inflated dollars than it was, back then. But I think we're going to start moving quickly at some point in the price of gold, especially when you start to see investors buying. I mean, they haven't bought into this rally. I've been talking about this is the most unloved gold bull market. You can buy gold at an all-time record high, and you're a contrarian because nobody believes in it. Nobody cares. Nobody covers it. The public isn't buying it. The hedge funds aren't there. The pensions, the endowments. Nobody is buying. It's at an all-time high. So it's going to have to go much, much higher to get on anybody's radar, and then even higher to get the naysayers to capitulate, throw in the towel, and start to buy. Maybe the last ones will be the hardcore Bitcoiners who finally try to buy whatever gold they can afford with what's left of their Bitcoin. But eventually, you're just going to have a lot of people coming into the gold market. It's not just going to be some astute central bankers in the BRIC countries that are buying the gold, and me and my followers. There's just a small number of us that have been buying. We mentioned last time. We met at the New Orleans Investment Conference. Hopefully, I'll see you there this November. But that's like the oldest gold conference in the country, biggest conference. We get like 500 people that show up at that conference. They just had the Bitcoin conference in Nashville. Maybe you were at that one. I mean, there were over 20,000 people there. So that's where the excitement is, right? That people are ignoring, what's gold, but you don't want to enter a crowded trade, right? You want to be in the market that everybody isn't overly enthusiastic about. I mean, normally the gold stocks lead the metal because investors are so confident that they want to buy the gold stocks. Now the metal is dragging the gold stocks reluctantly, and every time, look, yesterday gold was down 0.5%, and gold stocks are down 4 or 5%. They just got clobbered on 0.5% move. Today, gold pretty much regained the entire 0.5% it lost yesterday, and the gold stocks were down again. That's how scared. The minute gold got below 2,500, that's it. It's going to crash. Get out, sell. Right? I mean, talk about climbing a wall of worry. This is the steepest, biggest, mother of all walls of worry that I've seen in a bull market.